Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to work on some standing poses and we'll be utilizing the wall, our mat of course, and a couple of bricks. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Let's take our mat to the wall and we're going to set our bricks so that one brick is flat, sticking out lengthways from the wall. The other brick is going to be wedged between the knee and the wall as we take a long stride for Virabhadrasana number 2, warrior pose number 2. So I'm going to turn my back to you as I take my right foot onto the brick. I take the toes up the wall if the toes are malleable. If not, you can work with your foot flat, but it depends on how long your foot is. If I work with my foot flat, my heel comes off the edge of the brick. So my preference is to have the heel digging down, the ball of the foot digging down, and the toes up the wall. Then I'm going to wedge the brick between the knee and the wall. So my kneecap, you might prefer the head of the shin, presses the brick to the wall. And I want to keep that there as I take my left leg a long way back so that I can descend the right sitting bone and bring my right thigh parallel to the floor. So with the height underneath this right foot, it's helping me to get the leg more, the thigh more parallel to the floor as I stride the left leg out. Now watch your foot here. Don't have the foot turned out. See if you can at least keep it parallel to the edge of the mat, maybe slightly turned in if you can. And then press this left thigh back, press the shin bone back, and do your best to lift the right pelvic bone up. So rather than leaning over, having this right side of the pelvis leaning over the right thigh, can you lift the right side of the pelvic bone up and roll the right buttock down? So perhaps you can use your hand to help roll the right buttock down and squeeze it forward. Squeeze that right buttock forward as you press the left thigh back. Then the pelvic floor lifts, the pubis to navel lifts. We stretch the arms out. You'll find the right elbow needs to be bent. But you lift the chest from the navel. Navel lifting up from the pubis. Roll the shoulders back and down. And grip the mat with the outer left foot. Now to come out of the pose, we're going to catch the brick. And you can work that right knee away from the wall, shimmy the left leg in, and we'll step off our brick to do the other side. So the left foot comes onto your brick, toes up the wall, or your foot's flat if that works for you. And then our kneecap, pinning the brick to the wall, or if it's better for you, if you feel better, the head of the shin can be there. My preference is the kneecap as I'm pinning that flat brick to the wall. So now my knee is vertically top the ankle. I can lean into the wall as I take my right leg a long way back so that I'm bringing my left thigh parallel to the floor. So I want to descend the left sitting bone, but I want to take care that I'm not letting the pelvis tilt over the left thigh. So I want to lift the left pelvic bone up so that my armpits sit more vertically top the hip sockets. And I want to look back at this leg and see, is it bent? Can I press the right thigh back, press the right shin back, spread the little toe, that outer edge of the foot onto the floor, and all the while I'm squeezing this buttock forward. So perhaps you can use your hand, roll the left buttock down, squeeze the left buttock forward, and keep the right thigh pressing back. Then with the navel lifted, chest lifted, stretch your arms out and turn your chest away from the wall. So just notice if you're spinning around to face the wall, can you peel the right chest back away from the wall as you're pressing the right thigh and shin back. And we get steady as we breathe smoothly. And then to come out, you can reach for your brick, straighten the left leg more and shimmy the right leg in, step off your brick. Let's do Uttanasana to have a brief rest. So if you stack your bricks, they could be about hip width apart. They're both lengthways sticking out from the wall. We can get our heels back to those bricks and lean the buttocks into the wall. Slide the buttocks up the wall as you lean forward. Then if you feeling whether it's stiff in the lower back or stiff in the hamstrings, or you've got a lower back concern, you might want to take your bricks and put them underneath your hands so that you can keep your back straight. But if you're feeling supple, then feel free to reach fingertips to the floor. We're still sliding the buttocks up the wall, and perhaps you can go a little further forward and down over the legs. So buttock flesh sliding up the wall as the torso comes forward and down. And then feel free to drape the arms, catch the elbows. Slow your breath down. And then we'll come up and out of the pose. So you can put your hands on the waist, raise the head and the torso. As the buttocks slide down the wall, we come to stand up, and we can come off the wall. We're going to move the mat away from the wall and take our bricks with us. And now for Parsvakonasana, the lateral angle pose. Again, we're going to use a brick as a platform to stand the leading leg on, or the foot on. So have one flat brick to the right side of your mat, then have a tall brick behind that. Then put your right foot on the brick. So now I'm mirroring you. Right foot on the brick. Bend the knee. Stride the left leg back so far that you can replicate what we just did at the wall in Virabhadrasana II. So if you can manage the heel of this right foot's in line with the arch of the left foot, you're spreading the little toe on the left foot, you're descending the sit bone. But now we lean over the leg. So now we tilt the pelvis over the thigh, feed this femur bone into the pelvis as you're tilting the pelvis, and then reach your hand to your brick. So using a tall brick, lengthening the right waist over the thigh, pin this knee back to your arm, and then let's stretch this arm diagonally to the side. So it's on the same diagonal as your back leg. Then spin the left chest up as you look up. Squeeze the right buttock forward as you press the left thigh back. Left heel plugging down into the floor. Get steady in your breath. Then when we come up, we just want to take care because we're standing on this brick. So you can bring your left hand back to the waist, shimmy your back foot in. So you're narrowing your stance, and then come to stand up. Sometimes if we stand up with a wide stance, this brick may scoot out and you end up in a wider stance. So that's why I came up the way that I did. So let's swap sides. You're standing, now your left foot on the brick. You've got the tall brick behind the left ankle. You bend the left knee as you take the right leg a long way back, intending to bring this left thigh parallel to the floor. Spread the little toe, broaden that outer right foot to the floor, then lean over your leg. So as you're leaning, the pelvis tilts. No longer are we trying to keep this left pelvic bone up. You tilt the pelvis so that you're lengthening your waist over the thigh. Then bring your hand onto your tall brick and squeeze the left buttock forward. So you're trying to lengthen the groin. At the same time, right thigh presses back, outer right foot suctions to the mat, and then we can take the arm over to the diagonal, same diagonal as the back leg, and spin the right chest up as you look up. You get steady in your breath, even though it's a challenging pose to hold. Can you get steady in your breath? Left knee presses back, right thigh presses back. And then let's bring the hand back to the waist, shimmy your back leg in, so you're narrowing your stance, and then you can come to stand up. Let's do Uttanasana to rest again. So again, if you need your bricks for your hands, use your bricks. We're not leaning into the wall this time. If you can go lower, by all means, fingertips to the floor, bend the elbows, fold further forward and down. And then you can catch the elbows, drape your arms down, but keep the legs firm. Kneecaps gripped. Then slowly let's make our way up, hands to the waist. Lift the head, lift the torso. Inhale as you stand all the way up. Now we're going to move our mat back to the wall, and we'll have the bricks nearby. Using one brick, we'll keep that in our right hand. Now I'm not mirroring you. I'm going to be doing my right leg, which may look a little bit opposite to what you're doing. But if you could follow along, left heel is to the wall. We turn the left toes in, off the wall somewhat. And then stride the right leg out. Take a long stride. So you're definitely using more than half the length of your mat. Let's just put this brick so it's standing tall behind the ankle. Stretch the arms out and spin your left chest back towards the wall. So you know that you're not already going to let your chest drop towards the floor as you go over the right leg. So left chest spinning back towards the wall. Plug the heel into the wall floor joint. Inhale. Exhale. Tip over the right leg. Hand to the brick. Left arm up. And again, this idea of spinning the left chest. Now it's not to the wall, but it's to the ceiling. So spin the left chest up. But can you feed this right femur bone into the pelvis as you tilt the pelvis over the femur bone? Then if you're feeling capable, you can definitely lower the brick. But just watch that you're not letting this right waist shrink and left rib cage bulge up. So left rib cage moves in. Right femur bone feeds into the pelvis as the pelvis tilts over the femur bone, and we're keeping some length here in the right waist. And then we can turn to look up. Squeeze the right buttock forward. Press the left thigh back and plug the left heel into the wall and the floor. Inhale, stand up. And let's turn around so we can swap sides. So take your brick in your left hand, right heel to the wall, but you turn your foot away from the wall. And then stride left leg out. Again, use more than half the length of your mat, depending on how long your legs are, but we are wanting an extra long stride. Start with a tall brick. Plug the heel into the wall floor joint and turn your right chest back towards the wall. Bring a toned quality to the legs so the quadriceps are working, kneecaps gripped, knees are straight. Inhale. Exhale. You lean over the leg, hand to your tall brick. And you spin the right chest up towards the ceiling. But as we're intending to keep this left waist long, can you feed the femur bone into the pelvis? Tilt the pelvis over the femur bone, and perhaps you can go a little lower to the lower position of the brick, but not at the expense of the bulge in this top rib cage and the shrinking in this left waist. Again, feed the femur bone into the pelvis, tilt the pelvis over the femur bone, bring length to the left waist, and keep this right rib cage in. With the arm stretching up, perhaps you can turn to look up. Press both shoulders back and down, plugging right heel into the wall and the floor. Then inhale, stand up and come out of the pose. Now again, let's do Uttanasana forward. So remember how we use the bricks there as a way to create space between the heels and the wall. So the length of a brick, slide the buttocks up the wall. Feel free to use your bricks underneath your hands, or perhaps one brick if you've only got one brick nearby. Otherwise, if you can go further, forward and down. But you're all the time sliding the buttock flesh, sliding the sitting bones up the wall, straighten the knees, descend the torso, relax your arms. Then hands to the waist, lift the head, lift the torso, raise the torso up, slide the buttocks down the wall, and then we'll come off the wall. We're going to do one more pose, one more standing pose, and again we'll use the wall. This is for Ardha Chandrasana. The wall can really assist us with our balance. Let's take our brick and we've got to navigate, well, how far away from the wall to be. Some of us already can have a sense of that. You stand on the right leg, you lean onto the brick and you step the left foot up. Others, it may be really helpful to measure that distance. I mean, it's trial and error sometimes anyway. You take the left foot up and you think, oh, okay, I'm too close. You take the left foot up, oh, I'm too far away, can't reach the wall, and you can manage that way. But if you wanted to, you could measure the distance by sitting down. Here's the length of my legs, feet are touching the wall, and then I can use my brick here where my hip is, and that's going to suggest where my standing heel needs to be. And then there may be a little bit of adjustment that needs to take place. So if you start with a tall brick, the right hand is on your brick and it can be further behind the line of the right foot. It doesn't have to be directly in line with the foot. This may help with your balance if you take it just off to the side a little bit. Then you can bend the right leg, take left foot up the wall and straighten the right leg again. So with the legs straight, see that the leg is on the same trajectory as the spine. So if you're quite flexible, you want to take the leg up, lower the hand, and then see if you can navigate. Is the leg on the same trajectory and the same diagonal incline as the torso? But if you're stiff, that foot will be lower and your hand will be higher. So either way, spin your chest up. Turn the left chest away from the floor. So we're balancing on the right leg, left foot's on the wall, left chest spins up towards the ceiling. And you're rolling both shoulders back and down. But then can you press the hips forward? So keep this standing leg turning out, right thigh turning out. Squeeze the right buttock forward. Direct your tailbone to your left heel. And zip the navel up. Pubis to navel lifting. Rotate the navel up towards the ceiling as the left chest spins up. And then bend the right leg. Step the left leg down. Take a breath or two and we'll swap legs. So you can simply see where the right foot was. Step the left foot in that spot relative to the wall. So when you come to balance, again, you don't have to have the hand and the brick directly in line with the foot. You could have it further back if that helps with your balance. So starting with that left leg bent, you lean into the brick and you step the right foot up the wall. Right hand can be on the waist. And again, you decide, do you want to lower the brick? Or is that going to compromise your capacity to turn the chest? So just notice that the lower you go, particularly if you're trying to get your hand to the floor, the more that top chest wants to drop down towards the floor. Sometimes it's really difficult to lift it up again. So use whatever height is suitable for you so that when you push your right foot into the wall, you can spin your chest, right chest up away from the floor. Stretch your right arm up. That will help with the lift of the chest. Roll the shoulders back and down, but then squeeze the left buttock forward. So you're keeping the left thigh turning out in the hip joint, squeezing the left buttock forward, zipping the navel up. So as the tailbone moves in, lengthen your tailbone to the right heel, draw pubis to navel up and rotate the navel up towards the ceiling as your right chest also lifts up towards the ceiling. And then to come down, you bend the left leg, step the right leg down, and let's do Uttanasana again. So feet apart, you can go as wide as the mat, and forward and down, unless you need support, in which case you can use your brick here. But if you can manage, go all the way, drape your torso, drape your arms down, catch the elbows, elongate the trunk as you're folding forward and down and allowing the head and the heart to rest. Now let's come up out of the pose, hands to the waist, lift the head, lift the torso, and come to stand all the way up. and we'll finish from there. If you're feeling a little bit shaky in the limbs, perhaps it's a good idea to lie down. Maybe you can lie with your legs up the wall, or you can lie out in Shavasana for a few moments before you finish up your practice. But if you enjoy practicing with me, I invite you to check out my video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. I have an extensive library there with over 390 classes. I'm adding classes to it every week, and you can start with a 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.